All right, here we go. Here we go.
Good evening and welcome to the 2021 Live Lottery Pod. I am Luke, joined this evening at the Mule with Andrew.
I'm just fired up to be here today.
Are you?
Pretty cool. Pretty damn cool. Wow.
Slam through Taylor.
Every rose has its thorn. Just like it's Slamper.
And Jay.
It's Jay.
That's all we got, Tayshawn?
So we get no dad joke.
I didn't know.
I need so much more than that tonight. Gosh.
Dad jokes off the top of the dome.
Yeah, you should.
Behind the scenes, you look those up.
This was your time.
BTS, I pull them up on Google.
Wow.
So important news. So right now we got 17 seconds left in the first half. The Suns
Stop!
are-
Don't do this. That's horrible podcasting. So the Thunder wind up with pick 6. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to the Mule. Thanks for everybody that came out because the atmosphere here was insanity.
The movement from just a ton of excitement to absolute letdown was one of the more tangible emotional things I've ever experienced.
Yeah, unforgettable moment.
Unforgettable moment. We were recording because if 6 would have gone to Cleveland or Orlando or Houston or Detroit or any of those teams, this place might have erupted.
Yeah, well, it would have, which is such a shame because it even erupted whenever the Rockets didn't get number 1.
It did feel good. It was the only consolation prize for the night.
It's one of the only things that felt good about tonight, certainly, was the Houston Rockets not getting 1. So the Thunder wind up with 6. They'll go into the draft with 6, 16, and 18. At least for now, that's where they are.
Luke, what's your prediction for where they start the draft?
Luke is trying to eat a sandwich right now.
I'm going to guess. I think they're going to start drafting. It'll probably go number 1. Draft pick will be picked first. I'm going to guess they're going to follow that up quickly with number 2. And then I'm going to enjoy the
Okay,
sandwich.
all right. So I just have a hard time believing, one, that the Thunder will only pick at 6. I would not be shocked to see them picking in the top 4 in this draft.
And we kind of had some conversations as we walked the room a little bit. One of the things is, sorry, I'm super bassy here at the Mule. But one of the things is, if you look at the top 4 or 5, you've got Detroit's going to take number 1. They're going to take Cade Cunningham. That's the end of that conversation. Cade's not going to play for the Thunder ever.
Yeah.
in his entire career.
That's probably true.
Number 2 is Houston. I think Oklahoma City have a hard time getting Houston's number 2 pick.
I got a bunch of their stuff already.
Unless you were saying we're going to give it back to
We'll
them.
give you all your stuff back.
We'll give you all your stuff for the 2. That might, maybe.
Would you want to do that?
I don't know enough about what they have coming up. I have enough trust in the absolute downfall of that franchise.
I don't know that I would do that. I don't know that I would give them their stuff back.
It's just one more pick, isn't it?
No.
And a pick swap.
Yeah, I would not do that. I would not give them their stuff back.
So you've got Houston at 2, 3 you've got Cleveland, and that's the one that's incredibly intriguing, I think, to me.
Definitely.
Cleveland has guys that they're paying and are going to pay at really most of the positions because they've been so draft heavy the last decade.
Yeah.
Because you've got Garland, you've got
Sexton,
you've got Jared Allen at the center position. Like if you were going to look at Mosley, I know you can make that work.
Yeah.
And then last year, Okoro was a top 10 pick. I think it was 6.
Yeah.
And so you have guys that you're investing in low. Like I think I could see the Cavs making a move. I think the question is what kind of player? What player? I'm assuming if you're trying to get out of the 3 pick, you're not really looking at future assets. So you're trying to get somebody that can contribute today. So if you look at the Thunder, it's a 6, 16, and 18. I mean, you could do a 6 to 3 swap and then you would have to include somebody that could tangibly play today, is my assumption, that they would want. The Dort,
I mean, I would say everybody's on the table. For 3, you don't put Shea on the table, but I would say everybody else. Like, who do you want? Like, if it is Lou Dort, like that would not be fun to part with Lou, but I think they would do it.
Lou doesn't make sense. For me, Lou doesn't make a ton of sense. I mean,
They have a Coro, they've got guards.
Yeah.
He's not the guy.
I mean, if they wanted to ask about Poku,
I don't even know if they would necessarily. It all depends on evaluations,
do
right?
they need picks?
Yeah, of course they do.
Just push it down 5 years from now.
Yeah, so to me, it's not necessarily that they would want a player. I think it would be. I think Sam would have to overwhelm them with an offer. 6, 2 future firsts, or whatever it is.
Now, can that trade
To go to 3.
Can that trade be made before draft night, or is that?
Yeah, it can be consummated today if they wanted to. Yeah. You have anything to say, Taylor?
Yeah. My number one observation about tonight was before the
Taylor's been workshopping this. He's workshopped this with at least 4 or 5 people here.
No, that one's about blue balls. I don't really like.
Yeah.
The one I was going to talk about was everyone here's like, leading up to this. Man, Cade, it would be awesome to have Cade.
Yeah.
Oklahoma guy, blah blah blah. Gosh, it would really hurt his career to go to Detroit. And then against Houston at the number 2 pick, and no one cares about Cade Cunningham's career anymore. It's only about Houston did not get the number 1 pick.
Exactly.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
But I'd mentioned earlier in some conversations, like what Troy Weaver is doing in Detroit, like I think Cade, and if you look at John Hollander's stuff in the Athletic today, he's talking about the best franchise to fit somebody like Cade. Top 2 were Toronto and Golden State, which Toronto got 4, Golden State got 2 picks, I think 7, 13, or 14. I really think that Cade being in Detroit is a good spot for him.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit redundant maybe with Killian Hayes from last year, but from what people have said about Cade, and if you haven't listened to the Dream Team's evaluations from McKellar and Andrews, Cade he's the perfect complementary guard for if you have a ball dominant guy, he can just space the floor, shoot it, he can drive, he can pass, he can defend. Cade will be really good around Killian. So and not that you would not
you don't make decisions about Killian about your team based on Killian Hayes.
Right. But it did feel really good that Houston did this number 1 pick. That's like the consolation.
Yeah, it would have been incredible had they drawn OKC at 5 after getting 6.
Jalen Rose is apparently happy that Detroit got.
Yeah, he's a Michigan guy. Yeah,
I've never played there.
He's from there.
that's his place though.
He's got
Yeah.
roots there, man.
Yeah.
He's
That's-
got roots there.
Yeah, it's great for Detroit. It's great for the franchise. Right. I know it's a bummer. I mean, there's just no way around it. That this was one of the worst case scenarios when we're talking
The
about
second worst case scenario.
this is and one of the more likely outcomes was this. So I mean, you can't be surprised. Like we can't, but certainly our hopes were up, and we were. It was a huge letdown. I'll say that.
It was, and I think the thing that, and I know that there'll be people to process this, and McKellar is one of those. Like, more than likely at the 6th position, you're going to get either Kuminga or Scotty Barnes.
Yeah.
Neither one of them moved the needle in my mind as far as like you didn't get in those 2 guys your superstar.
Yeah. Probably not.
I think
We don't. I mean, we don't know.
I think for the Thunder, like it's kind of okay because Shea is your superstar. But what it more than likely tells me is that and I think they were going to be in this direction anyway. I think it's just going to be a little more on the intentional side, maybe, is that we're going to have another year of this rebuild in 2021, 2022.
It's likely.
Which I think is probably what, if you felt the disappointment in the room, is it was a bunch of people that want the Thunder to be relevant quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam has been pretty outright to say, like, we recognize this may be a multi-year process.
Yeah.
Well, and we'll see really what actually happens, right? There's things that Sam says and then there's things that Sam does. And so like you were saying, Andrew, who knows? They might move up. They might actually pick the guys in the show.
Yeah, we don't know who their guy is. It may not be Cade. Cade may not be their guy.
Oh, it could have been Suggs.
It could be Suggs. It could be
Could be
Mobley.
Kuminga.
It could be Jonathan Kuminga.
Kuminga's the guy, if
We
you
don't know.
watch him play and knowing kind of Sam's type from the past,
Yeah.
Kuminga's the guy that you're like, Sam could fall in love with
He
him.
can do a little bit of everything.
And
Yeah.
then you may be able to just move up one position. You just swap.
He may
Orlando.
fall to 6.
He
Period.
could. Yeah, absolutely.
You may not need to do anything. He may fall right to them.
And if Orlando knows what they're doing, even if he's going to fall, they're going to tell Sam, hey, we're going to draft him at 5, so we'll take 6 and 16. And
Yeah.
Orlando had a.
6 and a future protected first or whatever.
So are you? If you're an Orlando fan, you got Dallas's first, Chicago's pick at like 11,
Yeah.
and then you got yours at 5. That's a pretty disappointing night for them too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this was not what they wanted either. Yeah, it's a rough outcome for them as well. So there's
Yeah, but that's normal.
5 and they have 5 and 8. At least you have 5
Okay,
though.
5 and
You
8.
walk away with 5. Like if that was the Thunder's outcome, 5 and 8, I don't think that we're as somber as we are right
No,
now.
I mean, having 2 picks in the top 10
Yeah,
is like, okay, we can talk ourselves into this being like serious.
yeah, they could. Yeah, and then you take 5 and 8, and then if like the guy you really want is at 4, that's a much easier deal to be made than what they're going to have to do on draft night. Like it's way more ammunition to go after.
So okay, right now, all y'all, I'll start with Luke. Who do you want them to take at 6, Luke?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll go to Anthony.
I mean,
right now, if you could pick tonight.
yeah. I mean, I think it probably comes down to Kuminga or Scotty Barnes, whoever's available.
No. Which one, if they were both available?
I think Jonathan Kuminga easy if he's available. I would doubt he's available, but that's if he is, that's the guy.
Kuminga really fits what Orlando's been trying to do too. Though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted him.
Right.
Yeah. And Barnes as a consolation prize is not the worst thing in the world.
I like Scotty Barnes. He can't shoot.
You would
Yet
Thunder fans would fall in love with him though.
the highest motor in the entire league.
Oh, there we
What
go.
I think what's going to happen?
No, it's not.
They haven't worked out anyone yet, have they?
I don't know.
They're doing some draft stuff now.
I
They'll
think
start-
there's always someone in like the top 3 that falls way further down than they think, even right now.
There could be some medical.
And I think
issues
that
with
could
somebody.
happen.
Luke's predicting it. Luke,
And I think if that happens, you grab them and
MPJ fell like a rock.
yeah, but I don't know. I think that the way guys that I'm intrigued with that are later on in the draft, that maybe the guy that you get at 6 is not the real franchise changer, but maybe you get Zaire Williams at 13 because you move up if he needs to be moved up.
Yeah.
Maybe it's James Bouknight. Maybe it's Moses Moody. Maybe it's Keon Johnson from Tennessee.
Somebody will be an all-star in that group.
Yep. Yeah.
One of those guys, I don't know if it's one of the guys you mentioned, but one of those guys in that range will be a very good player. I mean, we're watching Devin Booker right now. Like nobody thought Devin Booker would be this.
One pick above.
We just
Cam.
don't know. And also, here's another reality: is that somebody in that top 4 is going to be bad.
Or multiple are going to be.
Or yes, two of them are not going to be good. And so if you think you're getting a great player at 4, you may be wrong.
Yeah.
But also, it sucks to have only 6.
I know. Yeah. We can sugarcoat really.
We can
anything,
sugarcoat this. Yeah, we can make this look good.
but it still sucks.
The fact is that they did not get lucky tonight. That's just a fact.
Which is one of the things like
We
to,
get
ref-
lucky tonight.
to reflect on the Thunder's history. Like you were talking about it, I think, with Kelly's podcast.
Been
but
there.
When the Thunder got Kevin Durant, they had worse odds to get the number 2 pick
Yeah.
than they did tonight, and
Yeah.
they just got lucky.
Yeah.
You know. So, but I think if you go by that kind of mantra that Sam we trust or Pressy we trust, like if he falls in love with somebody that's in the top 5 and he wants that pick, he's going to do what he can to get that. I think that's part of the reality.
Yep.
That is my mantra.
I think-
Meditate daily.
And that's what he does, and that's what he'll keep doing. He's to find someone, trade up for him, not just, in the top 5, maybe, But later in the draft, he's going to trade up. He traded up for Poku. He'll do that again when he finds someone he wants.
Yeah.
He will trade up and get them because we have the assets to do it.
That's the thing. It's like, okay, if there's a guy in the top four that Presty really sees, like that's the guy. This is the situation. Like he has every card in his hand to play to get to that.
Yeah.
If he really wants. To.
Definitely, he does. All right, I've got to cut this short because I've got like a billion things to do tonight. So,
Let's do another one this month.
huh?
I'm just kidding. Hey, we want to say a special thank you once again to all of those who came. Just a gigantic turnout. We're going to be having a draft party.
Shout out to everyone who came.
Yep.
We're going to be having a gigantic draft party.
Thank you for coming.
We'll let you know. Also, a special thanks to the Mule. Special
Big
thanks
thanks.
to Frenzy Brewery. Special
Yes.
thanks to Lively.
Yes.
All of those who came helped. We love you. Sorry we got 6. Not our fault.
But come again.